Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Ringa Diski with yours truly, Scologa Dlamini. Apologies guys, I know I've been a bit scarce. Technical issues, man, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I'm back and yeah, I'm here to stay, and yeah, I've sorted out whatever I needed to sort out, and yeah, we're good to go, guys. You know, I'm coming to you today on this episode I'm at the FNP Stadium. I'm here to see Golden Arrows versus Kaizer Chiefs, or Kaizer Chiefs versus Golden Arrows. Yeah, man, it's a couple of minutes before kickoff. Well, it's like an hour before kickoff, so it's a bit quiet at the stadium. There's a bit of sound playing in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but anyway, let's get into the show, guys. So today on the show, I wanted to talk about firstly the PSL rotation of coaches. I also wanted to talk about Urulane and what's happening at Pirates. I also want to talk about the stadium environment since I'm at the stadium, and you know, share my views about the attendance and about what I think people need to, why they don't attend my games, or what needs to improve. You know, we don't have all the answers, but yeah, man, we can share a bit of a few of my suggestions there too. And I wanted to close the show with something new that I'm trying. You know, it's a new segment, you know what I mean, just me venting about some of the issues I see in and around Ebola. So yeah, this is venting at the end of the show, and this is a discussion at the beginning of the show, guys. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into some of the topics, and let's talk about it, Diski, guys. Get into it, eh? So you guys know that recently there's a couple of coaches that have been fired by a couple of PSL teams. You know, one of the teams also hired or babambisa umuntu and then bamqosha like a game or two afterwards. You know what I mean? So I wanted to share my views about that. You know, so first and foremost, I think we all know Guti Kevin was at Amazulu. He was fired. He was replaced by a coach who used to coach Polokwane City, and Clinton Lassen was fired at Chippa United. He was replaced by the guy who held it for a couple of days, and then he was also fired. And I think they announced a new coach, or they're about to announce a new coach today. And then BLACKLEOPARD also fired the coach and then hired LUCEMAYEL. I think we know Luke used to coach Free State Stars, used to coach Polokwane City, and I don't know if he coached Bloem Celtic, but I remember something happened along those lines. You know, so what I wanted to talk about is, for me, is first and foremost, I believe good teams have the right to they can hire and fire who they want to do, whoever they want to, you know, because if you look at how PSL is set up, PSL is not set up to be in that way you want to develop players, where you want to build a team and, you know, build a structure and create from there, take 3-4 years and build a big team. You know, it's about results. You know, you come in, you produce results, and if you don't, you get fired, and that's understandable for me, and I think teams are allowed to do that. You know, what I think we're doing is that we're holding up this local team or local coaches banner so much so that we forget that they also need to deliver. You know, they local coaches, but they also need to deliver. You know, and if you look at some of the track records, you look at Clinton Lassen, for example, you look at his last 6-7 games last season coming into this season. I think Uchipa was a bit justified. We can all argue, we can all debate, but I think he was a bit justified to let go of Clinton, because he could see that the results were not coming, and to stop the same thing that is happening, and to stop the fact that they might go on to be in the relegation zone another season and fight the relegation another season. So for me, I believe Uchipa did what is right for his team. You know, I don't believe on this hiring and firing coaches within weeks or within months. You know, I do believe you need to give a coach a bit of time. You know, and I think Amazulu did that with Kevin since they bought status into the league. He has been their coach, but now I think they could see that the results were not coming, and they've just trying to avoid the danger. And if you look at Leopards was also in danger of being relegated last season. They just made it by the, you know, skin of their teeth, you know. And yeah, man, I think for me now, it is justified for some of the teams to get new coaches and all of that, because the PSL is not structured for you to have a coach for 3 seasons and he's not delivering, and you want to just sit there and not have results. You know, if you look at the coaches that have been long in their position, they deliver. You know, Pito is a huge example. Or Kevin Hunt is a huge example. They deliver. You know, one trophy there, skip a season, one trophy there for Kevin. Sundowns is doing great. You know, so those coaches are a good example of you need to come in, you need to deliver. And yeah, man, we can't have you sit here and not deliver. Whether you're local or you're not local, you have to deliver. You know, that's my view anyway. So good luck to those coaches who I hope they do find something new and they do find themselves somewhere else, because yeah, man, it's not nice to sit at home and not have something to do and participate in a sport that you love. Man, let's get into another coach, another team. First and foremost, I have huge respect for Orlando Pirates. I have huge respect for Coach Rulane. For those of you who don't know and would find this funny, but I once had the privilege, or at the time just had the fun of coaching against Rulane, and he was still starting up a Lokshin and all of that. But anyway, that's a lifetime ago, you know. But I wanted to share this with you guys. If you look at how teams struggle, you know, how teams kind of sort of go through this cycle of struggling. You know, it is funny for me, and it happens mostly when teams either change coaches or have interim coaches and everything like that. You know, but here's my big question, right? Urulane was assistant coach to Umicho, right? And they worked together for a season or so, and for what we understood or for what we know or what we could see is that Urulane has influence or plays a part, plays a role. He's not just the guy who puts in many cans and puts bibs and guys get to, you know, he's a coach, he's helping. But now, how is the transition from Umicho leaving to Rulane taking over so difficult? You know, why is it so difficult? Does it look so disjointed? You know, that's a question for me. You know, he has the same team that Mitchell left. He has the same players that they brought in last year. They brought in this season before Mitchell left. It's a similar structure. You know, if you still look at the pictures, our stadium, the lines that were there when Mitchell came in that we didn't understand, and they were from Immense City or they were similar to Immense City, they're still there. That means the structure is still there. So why is it difficult now for Rulane to just carry on from what Mitchell did? You know, and I find myself asking that question, but I have this response as well, is that most of the time coaches have their own ideas, right? You see this as well, the Bafana coach, where he's now choosing players that Stuart Baxter did not choose. But he was there when Stuart Baxter was making the decision to choose the players. But now he's coming up with new players and leaving some of the players that Baxter believed in or thought they were good for the national team. Which begs the question again, what do assistant coaches do? You know, that what role do they play? How much of a say do they have in the team and all of that? Because most coaches rely on the fact that, or clubs rely on the fact that when I leave, or when this guy leaves, we have this assistant coach who's going to just carry on and take over from that, you know. But yeah, man, Pirates is not doing well at this moment, but I'm sure they will turn it around. I know Rulane is a football scholar. He loves the baller. He's well knowledge ebolweni, and I know he's going to turn it around, you know. But again, I'm going to share this one thought again that I have, and this is now about the clubs mostly. You know, I think clubs are doing it wrong when they don't allow coaches to bring in their own assistant coaches, you know, because I think we have this thing, Oguti will hire an external coach or a coach or foreign coach that will come in and will get someone local, and that someone will learn from this coach, you know, and I don't think that's how it should be done. I think a coach and a coach should bring their own backroom staff, you know, because at the end of the day, that's who they believe in, that's who they trust, and we shouldn't rely on the fact that when this one leaves, then at least we have someone who's learned or who he taught and he, you know, sort of mentored, and that person now it can take over the reins, because it's not working. We can see it now at Pirates, it is not working. You know, but as I said, hopefully they turn it around. Pirates is a huge team, and we need it in the league to compete. And last year, it Chiefs did not compete, and we could see the effects of that. You know, so we need the Pirates to compete. We need all the teams, the 16 teams, to compete and put their best foot forward. So, good luck to you, Rulane. I know you under crazy pressure, man. But I believe you can do it, and I believe you have all the support. So guys, we know this old thing that has been happening in our football, right? Fans are not attending the games, right? It's an old thing. It's been happening for the past 2 decades now. The numbers have just plummeted down, right? And there's discussions, there's always debates about this. There's always people coming up with suggestions, and people are, and they're debating it, as I say, right? Here's my 2 cents about this, right? I've been coming to the stadium for the longest time, right? I don't attend every game. Disclaimer, I don't attend every game, right? But I make sure that a season doesn't go through or a season doesn't end and I don't go to the stadium, right? So every season I'll attend 2, 3, 4 games, right? And I've been doing this for quite a number of years. And what I find is when I was thinking about this is I'm coming to the same place. That is the same environment, that is the same setup, it hasn't changed. I've evolved. I've gotten a smartphone. My smartphone needs Wi-Fi for me to communicate with the people who are not at the stadium. I need places to go to either charge my phone, you know what I mean? I've evolved, but this place is not. Yeah, FNP is nice now. They've changed the seats. It's a beautiful stadium since the World Cup, right? But it hasn't changed. I don't know if the stadium gonna Wi-Fi. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe part of the stadium have, and maybe some parts don't have. But general population doesn't have, and therefore you're missing out on the people who are young, the people who were born in the 90s. I'm a 2000. I'm a millennials, guys. You're missing out on those guys because those guys are always on their phones. They always want to do something that is quick. They want to upload, they want to take pictures, they want to talk to their friends, and you making them come to the stadium, pay you money, and do that with their own phones, with their own money, which doesn't make sense. If you see now at every mall, pretty much every mall you go to, it has Wi-Fi, and malls, you see people chilling there and using Wi-Fi. And this is just an example, guys. It's a lot of things, right? You have, for example, you have parents who want to come to the stadium with their kids, right? But because they know that there's in the general sitting area, Kuma extra strong, people are smoking, right? Therefore, I want to leave my kids in a safe space where they're playing and where they're still interacting with the stadium, where they can watch games and all of that. I've not seen that at the stadium, right? You only see it at big games when Pirates and Chiefs is playing, where they would say this is a kid zone and anything like that. It's during the week now. I come from work, right? I want a place where I can sit and read a newspaper, before the game starts. There's nothing like that here. So it's a disconnect. It's a huge disconnect from what the times are doing and what the fans are doing now, because the people love the game. Right? People watch the game. If you go now and look at the numbers, in one of the episodes I'll do that for you guys, where we'll look at the numbers of people who actually watch the game on TV. It's a lot of people, guys. Right? I'm not sure if I can zone it by Soweto or surrounding areas, but it's a lot of people, and people want to engage and want to watch the game. People love this game, right? But I feel the PSL and the teams are not embracing the new people, right? And you see this in every stadium, right? When I went to the other time, I went to watch Chiefs playing Highlands Park in Makolo, right? It was a great environment. The stadium was packed, but it was an inconvenience to leave the stadium, right? It was an inconvenience to come in the stadium. I'm not going to go back to that hustle and bustle for me to try and get into the stadium just to watch a game. I'm not going to do that, right? I'm not going to do that whole hustle and bustle to come to the FNP and sit in the cold, and there's just a few 2,000 of us, right? And there's music blasting, and we want to sing. I want to come here and sing. That's where I started to love the stadium, right? I remember we went through the Vuvuzela phase, and now the Vuvuzela is not there, and people want to sing. So the stadium people are not the players. Sorry, the stakeholders, right, are not embracing that. You can talk about the quality of the football diminishing. You can talk about, it's just been happening. And people say, 20 years ago, people were coming to the stadium. Guys, do yourself a favor and look at the first games of the PSL, this format of the PSL, when I think it was a double header. You'll correct me here, but I think it was Cosmos, Swallows, Chiefs and Pirates playing, not playing each other, but those teams were playing. And the article or the headline on Monday was talking about how people did not come to the stadium. So it's been a declining number, guys, but it's just the people running our football are not looking into to sort this out. And you need to go with the times. Number one, you need to understand what the people are doing now, how people are consuming Ebola, how people are taking in everything around them, right? And I feel this is not doing it. So guys, allow me to introduce this new segment that I am trying to start up, right? So basically I wanted to start this channel, Ringa Diski, just to have a lot of ramblings and a lot of venting, right? And I thought, let's have discussions rather than venting and all that. But I'm bringing back venting, guys. I need to vent, and you'll see why, and you'll understand why I feel we need to vent, right? But let me give you why now, right? So I think firstly our footballers, both players, both the teams, the administrators, the people who run football, the club owners and everyone, don't take us seriously as fans, as people who support and love this game. They claim they do, right? But I think they don't, right? They don't take football seriously in this country as well. And I think they don't have anyone to account to. They feel they bigger, like they just clubs and club owners and administrators of this game are bigger than the fans, right? Which is for me is crazy, right? So I'll use this segment to just vent and talk about all the BS that I see and the things that I think they need to correct, right? So, but let me start with this one thing, and you'll see this will feature a lot, guys. Women's football, right? It gets to me, right? And I'll admit this. I don't watch a lot of it. I don't understand a lot of what goes on. I don't follow it. I don't follow that much of what goes on. But from time to time, you'll hear insane stories. You'll read crazy stories. And guys, allow me to because this is crazy, right? This past weekend or this past week, right? I was catching up on what's going on in the women's league and all of that. And I come across this story, number one, that says there's a team from Limpopo, right? I think it's Zanini ladies or something, that had to travel all the way to Cape Town to go play in Cape Town, right? All good. Leopards goes to Cape Town City to play. Cape Town City goes to Limpopo to play. Limpopo, Polokwane FC, Baroka, they all travel along, right? But they fly when they go to Cape Town. They fly when they go to Durban. These ladies had to take a minibus to go play in Cape Town. And I looked at the map, it's 17 hours, guys. 17 hours. 17 bloody hours sitting in a mini takes. Go quantum. Imagine that for a sec. We quantum, guys, going to Cape Town to go play a game. And it's pretty much 2 days of traveling. And they had to get there and they had to play. And they had to come back. Think about that, guys. Think about it's dangerous enough driving from Limpopo to Johannesburg. It's dangerous enough driving that distance. Now imagine going all the way to Cape Town, past the Bloemfontein, past all is Kevin, whatever, past the Kimball. It's insane, guys. It is crazy to even have a league. This is a professional league. It's not an amateur league. This is a professional league that is run by the association of the country that handles football in this country. And they let ladies, women, drive all the way to Cape Town in a mini bus takes, not a luxury bus, not even a city to city, guys. Not even in a mini taxi, guys, in a mini bus. That is insane. It just got me angry. It just got me to a point. I'm like, people do not take women football in this country serious. Forget that they don't take football as a whole serious. We're gonna get to that. And that's why I started by saying I don't follow women's football that much. And I know people in that space have talked about it, they've mentioned it. And I thought I should add my voice into that matter. And then I got to watch glimpse of a game. I think it was Sundowns ladies that I got to watch. And there was a penalty taken by the opponents, right? And the penalty went through the net, guys. I can think about that for a minute. In every game, right, you can go to any stadium or watch anything. In every game that is about to play, the officials go around and they look at the pitch, the condition of the pitch. They look at the nets and everything, right? Supersport, yes, Supersport was playing Amazulu, I think, recently, and they had to ask a ball boy to help fix a net because there was a hole in the net, and they couldn't start the game before that was sorted out, and it was sorted. But these ladies had to play in a net that was not sorted out. And a penalty on live television, on live national television, and the ball went through the net. I can think about that for a second. Professional league. You get what I'm trying to say, guys? And this is the venting I'm going to be doing, right? Someone is going to have to do something about such things. Someone has got to hold people accountable for this. Yeah, we can see this on Twitter. We can read on the headlines. We can do that, right? But we need more voices, and that's why I'm adding my piece of, my 2 cents into this. And please, guys, please, wherever you see these injustices in women's football, please raise them. Please tag me in anything. Send me whatever that you're seeing. I even read the other time from one of the journalists, award-winning journalist, Ubusisiwe, where she was talking about someone had to this lady was injured. I can't remember the game, and they had to go to piggyback to take that person out. What if that person had a broken leg and the leg was just dangling? You've killed a career. And this is the professional league run by the FA, guys, not by some dodgy members. No, it's an FA of this country. Anyway, before I get any other angry guys, let me say my goodbyes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the support. I want to give a huge shout out to Ubusisiwe for winning the Gauteng Sports Awards, Best Journalist of the Year. Yeah, man, big ups to you. And I want to also give a huge shout out to partner of mine, huge help, Neo. Guys, watch out for what me and Neo and the crew are going to be doing coming up this year, end of this year. And yeah, man, we want to just revolutionize. Yeah, man, yeah, we're just gonna do great things with this channel. Let me not give up everything else. But yeah, man, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the feedback. I see you guys, I listen to you guys, and yeah, we'll get better. We'll get great at this, and we're gonna just keep at it. Let me watch this game, and I'm gonna tell you the score. Yeah, whenever I tell you the score. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and